Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Mulesoft Tech for You. Today I want to discuss about a flow, subflow and private flow. What is the difference between flow and the private flow? What is subflow? We will be discussing in this particular video. So first one, flow. If you see here, there is a source part, there is a process part and error handling part. So a flow will has a source part, process part and error handling part, and something needs to be there in the source section. Here if you see there is a listener. If something is there in the listener section, then only we will call it as a flow. A flow has source part, process and error handling part. The source section should have something. Then only we will call it as a flow. Next, private flow. A private flow has source, process, and error handling part, but nothing will be mentioned in the source part. Here, there is no component has there. There is no component in the source section. Then only we will call it as a private flow. So, normally, these private flows will be triggered by flow reference or by using a data wave lookup function. As there is no source section, private flows cannot be initiated by themselves or some external system cannot call the private flows directly. These private flows can trigger only by using a flow reference or by using a data wave lookup function. Next, subflow. Subflow, if you see subflow, there is only one particular part that is called process part. Subflow will have only the process part. There is no source as well as the error handling part. Error handling, there is no error handling in the subflows. So the errors which has occurred in the subflow cannot be handled by itself. So these errors can handled by the calling flow or it's by the private flow. Flow, this particular flow, again the same like a private flow, even subflows also don't have anything in the source because subflow itself is not having a source part. So normally these flows will get triggered by flow reference or by using a data wave lookup. So now I want to show you how it looks like in the real time. I mean, here in this particular mule palette, if you simply say flow, flow will be, see, if you see the flow, when we say here, there is no flow on private flow because there is no much difference in the flow and the private flow as part of this particular thing. Here the flow, if for example flow, you can keep a listener or scheduler or whatever it is. If something was mentioned in the source section, then it is a flow. You imagine there is no listener here. We have some flow reference kept in this. Then we will call this as a private flow. Okay. Now there is a subflow here. If you see, if you drag this, see, subflows are not having source part as well as the error handling part. Subflows will have only the process part. So subflows and the private flows will always get triggered by the flow reference or by using a data wave lookup functions. The subflows, as it's not having a error handler, this will always handled by the calling flow. If subflow is private flow is calling a subflow, then private flow will handle the error which has occurred in the subflow. If main flow, for example, this is called flow, this is having a listener, so it is flow. If this particular flow is calling this subflow, then this is, as flow is having a error handler, the error which has occurred in the subflow will always handled by this particular flow. So subflow's errors will always handled by the calling flow or the private flow. Thank you.